Hey guys, I started a little early because I have no impulse control, clearly. But we'll be starting a little, I'll be starting at 1. I wouldn't do anything before 1 o'clock to stress out anyone. But I just wanted to start a little early and to give you all some time to come on board or not come on board, as the case may be. I mean, I think I'm doing this for me more than anything else. So I don't go crazy and murder my family during the corona crisis. It's very serious, guys. It's really, really serious. And we should try as much as possible to self isolate, which, something that I've been doing for years, but apparently now everyone's supposed to do it, which I think is really funny. Um, okay, I'm going to just stop this now and I want to check it and just see how it's running. Because the last time, oh, there's Mandisa. Okay, so people can join. All right. Hey, Mandisa, how you going, darling? Thanks for joining. Yeah, so as I'm gonna start at 1. I'm just making my little notes on, what I'm gonna talk about. I don't know how long I'm gonna be on here because, sometimes I do lives and I'm going, and then I just run out of energy and I'm like, oh, that's it, you know. I'm gonna commit to 20 minutes, and if I go beyond 20 minutes, then God is love. Also, warning: all my kids are home, plus the other kids I know. Don't touch my face, right? Plus the other kids that we live on the compound with. So my cousins. So it's a little bit of child mayhem going on here for the past few days. I mean, it's lovely. I'm so glad that they have somebody to play with, so I don't have to play, like 300 rungs of Rumi. That's not a flick. So it's nice to that they have somebody to engage with, and I have time to think. And that, that's the real thing here. This coronavirus and the reaction to it, and the way the different countries are cooperating and collaborating and shutting down. And one of the things I marvel at is the internet itself, that it can disseminate the information in such a way. I don't know what would happen without it. You know, I don't think information will be shared so easily. And I also feel worried for people who don't have any kind of internet or Wi Fi access, because even WhatsApp is a great way to disseminate and get information. Surely the other side of that is that the information is sometimes fake news, and that's spread all over the place, and that's kind of rough. It's hard to combat that. I remember people telling me very serious face that we had 51 cases at Mount Hope. I saw a guy, somebody, well, I don't know who, posted a long letter claiming to be a doctor who was locked up. And I marvel at the time people put into mischief when this is a crisis time and it's literally life and death. So why, it really shows how diabolical, we are, that that's the kind of thing we focus on in a time like this. Okay. So I just want to give you guys, because it's not quite 1 o'clock yet, and I want to be on time. I want to be a bit of a time Nazi. Well, gosh, why did I use the word Nazi? Okay. I want to be on time. Um, so I'm going to start exactly at 1, and I'm going to go over my little topics here. And always appreciate interaction, comments, points that people want to make, about any issue that I touch on. The focus of this talk that's coming up here, I guess my talk, is creative businesses. And I've always dealt with the challenges we faced. And this virus is a new level of challenge, because most of us, if not all of us, most of us, some of us, have good online platforms where that they've monetized. But most of us make our money through live events. Um, Not only do I produce live events through my female comedy brand, Femcom, I also produce live events, not live events, but workshops through my outreach company, Brown Cotton Outreach. And I do workshops with residential homes. So I just finished a program with the boys at Rainbow Rescue, and those boys are great. I hope they're doing okay in the crisis. I also administer a program that my mentor Ellen O'Malley camps and my husband. Oh, don't touch my face! Ah. Uh, I also administer a program that my husband and Ellen O'Malley camps run out of the maximum security prison. Um, I do a number of voice jobs for the radio. You would have heard my voice a lot without probably even knowing it. I get a lot of work there, and I'm very grateful for that. Um, I also do production management for films. I work in locations, casting, unit production manager. I just completed a really interesting job as a fixer for for the Australian Broadcasting Corporation for a program called Foreign Correspondent. So one of the things that I think that I'm good at is and maintaining multiple income sources. And that's something we'll talk about today. We'll be talking a lot about how do I, as a creative, go about creating multiple income sources. We'll also talk a bit about how to ask for help. Asking, let me just write that down. Right? Asking for help, as well as using how to use resources, the internet, YouTube, all of these things are fantastic resources. And I admit, I'm not standing up here as some sort of creative paragon who does everything perfectly. But there's so much that you can learn by simply listening to TED Talks. One of the things I've started doing to kind of mitigate my guilt. I like to play stupid games. And, I would say to any creative, play stupid games. Stupid games are a great way to let your subconscious mind work while you are entertaining yourself or being engaged or having fun. Of course, there's a balance. If you find yourself playing Candy Crush for 4 hours, you might have a problem, because it's really important to try to push in some productive time there. So I play stupid games, but what I do is when I'm playing my stupid games, I listen to a TED talk. So that's my balance, right? I'm like, I'm gonna play this stupid game, but I'm also gonna listen to a TED talk while I'm playing the stupid game. So I guess that makes me feel better about playing stupid games. And I have to say, I've been doing it for about a month now, and I've learned so much, and I've also found it very validating. It's wonderful when you watch a TED talk and you watch experts in their particular field, and they're saying the same things that I have learned or experienced, or that I, sort of instinctively, based on my combination of education, experience, and sort of my personality, things that I know are true. Of course, there's confirmation bias where we only hear what we want to hear, or we only listen and take in things that confirm our biases. So it's like, police will find you guilty because they're looking for evidence that you've committed a crime. They're not looking for evidence that you're innocent. So it's an interesting paradox, how we take in information. All right. It's 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. No more old talk and smoke. Smoke. Small talk. Smoke. Can I make that a thing? Can I make smoke a thing? No smoke? You all let me know. I don't know. I'm not very good at things like that. All right. I'm not sure if people can you comment? I don't know if people can comment. So see if that could happen. Because I'm not the best at this technical stuff, and I've had some complaints in the past. Edit post. Title. Corona. So I don't know. I'm doing my live, darling. Yes, I'm live now. My darling husband, come and talk to me. He don't know I'm doing a live. He don't know about these things. Not that I know much about these things, I'll be very honest. Okay, so now I don't know. Settings. All right, I'm back. Okay. Oh, look, great, great, great. Thanks, man, Lisa. I really appreciate that. I wasn't sure, and a little older than the cohort. These things were created for now, so it just take me a little second. All right, great. 20 minutes. Go ahead. Love him. Okay, so I wanted to start the live today, talking about yes, this is fucking serious. All right, it's a pandemic out there. The last real serious one was like in 1918. Millions of people died. We have an opportunity to be a generation who survives a pandemic by being smart, by doing the right thing. So I hope that that is true, that if we actually do the things that we're being told to do to stay safe, which makes sense, that we will be safe. But in the meantime, here we are as creatives with no work, and it's kind of serious, right? Or with reduced work, because so many of us depend on live events, or the what they call the gig economy. Now, I was really interested and chuffed to see and that create a sort of a letter that kind of lists some of that kind of states this is the situation for creatives, and this is what we need. We need support. Think about some kind of compensation, some kind of way of payment. And one of the things I'd like to urge everybody to do during this time is to go ahead and join the National Arts Registry as an individual. If we're going to be talking about state sponsored compensation or state sponsored grants to assist and support creatives, then we have to be counted. Now, I am very anti institution. I am an anarchist. I am an atheist. So I am not yet registered with the artist registry. Because why they want to know my business? Why they must count me? Screw y'all, right? Like screw y'all. But it's not like I'm gonna go plant peas in Tobago. So I guess I need to balls up and compromise on my anti uh, anarchist beliefs and join the artist registry. As an individual, I'm going to join as a stand-up comedian. That's the creative direction that is most strong with me right now, and where I derive the most personal and professional satisfaction. So I will be registering as an individual. Now, the registration process is not easy, which is another reason I'm not registered. It is downright annoying. The people in the ministry are making big efforts. I have to big up the Nadia Shah, Danielle. I don't know your last name. I'm sorry. It was just in an email I looked at today and I forget. Kimmy Stout Robinson, and that other lovely girl. You guys are super, super professional and just so organized, and I really respect what you all are doing in the department. And I will go ahead and register and stop being a psycho, basically, about not registering, because I don't like to be. I guess I'm contrary, so I I guess I have to deal with that, right? Um, so get yourself registered with the National Arts Registry. Use this time to register, even if you don't complete your registration because it's annoying. Start your registration, start getting yourself counted because if there is going to be compensation, the people who are registered will be the ones who will be first in line. And I imagine you will also need to show loss of income, like similar to farmers when they lose a crop, they have to show, any kind of compensation. You have to show what you lost, how you have to justify how you came to that conclusion, and put that together. And even if the government does not supply compensation, I would suggest, or there's no real discussion of it, I would suggest that you still document what you have lost, how much income Corona has cost you. I think that's really important. I think we, as a sector, have to start taking ourselves seriously, and these are some of the ways that we can do it. By tallying our losses so that it can be counted in real economic terms and communicated to um, other industries that don't have that creative focus and which are more quantitative as opposed to qualitative. So quantitative has to do with counting numbers, statistics, that sort of thing, and qualitative has to do with how I feel about it, my level of satisfaction, things that cannot be measured, like how you measure how much joy I might give someone who thinks my jokes are funny. I can't measure that, but I do know that the the neurological impact of laughter is healing. And I do know that the neurological impact of laughter is an immediate improvement in your physiological body as well as your mental state. The minute you laugh, you get better, just a little bit. And the more you laugh, the better you get. I can't quantify that. I can't go to a university and say, well, I've cured 100,000 people with my jokes. I wish 100,000 people had heard my jokes by now, but I'm working on it. I can't say that, but I know that what I'm doing has a positive impact that benefits the other people in the society, not just myself or my audience. There is a positive ripple effect. So I think as creatives, the first thing we need to do is sit down and tally our losses or deferrals, because some things have been postponed and will happen, and some things have been cancelled and will not happen. And of course, the dust hasn't cleared. We're not sure exactly how that's going to go. But I think two important things to do, and I'll just reiterate before I move on, is one, join the artist registry, get yourself registered so that you are counted in whatever creative endeavor you're doing. Yes, the process is annoying. You will be fed up. It made me fed up many times. I'm not the one for forms, but it's important. Get somebody to help you go into the ministry and harass Miss Nadia and them. Sorry. But get your shit organized and don't take no excuses. Make sure you're counted. If there's compensation, you deserve it. You're working, you're adding value and benefit to the world. So if there's compensation, get it and try to support and that drive to get compensation and to support that. And even if there's no compensation, because we can't make any assumptions. We don't know what the economic situation of our country and the world is going to be when and if this clears up, right? Well, it must clear, but when? You really don't know when. So the next thing I would say is tally your losses. Sit down and add up and tally how much you have lost due to Corona, due to the postponements, the cancellations, the meetings you can't go to, the gigs you could no longer do, the voice work that has dried up, make sure and check on that. Okay. The next thing I would say is, and I mean, feel free to add comments. My lovely one person still watching, right? The next thing I would say is use the time to work. Use the time to work. All right. Use it to do your work. Don't veg out and don't veg out on the couch watching TV, watching Netflix, just masturbating and sleeping, right? Because that's what we do because we're depressed, right? We are creatives. Half of our lives we spend depressed and the other half manic, okay? And the other half stressed. That's three halves, but we're creatives. We live life 150%, right? Whatever. So don't just veg out. Create a routine for yourself. Create a routine, right? So create, and I'm writing this down so I can remember to put it in the notes after. So I'm a professional. Create a routine for yourself, like a daily routine. Don't be a Nazi about it. I say Nazi a lot. I've been watching that series, Hunters. Don't be a Nazi about it. Don't deprive yourself. Don't deny yourself. Don't suffer. And nobody's saying you have to spend 8 hours of the day bent over creating. You know, if you work for an hour, if you work for half an hour a day, you will make progress. But you have to be consistent. And here's the secret to life: get up in the morning, drink some water, bathe. You hear me? That's the most important thing. Bathe. If you do not bathe, you will not get ready for your day. You will feel differently. Something about bathing does just activate us, right? Yes, man, this veg out girl. Play a stupid game and listen to me drone on, right? Love it. Um, bathe, get up in the morning, bathe. Even if you don't do no work for the rest of the day, that just that act of getting up in the morning, bathing and dressing is going to do you something positive. Okay, it's going to give you the opportunity to do it because until you bathe, you're not really up, you're not really out, you're not really in the world, and you know this, you know it. Yeah, I know it. All right. So whatever your process, maybe bathing is not part of your process. Maybe you're a European, right? Maybe you can work without beating. So do whatever works for you, right? No offense to Europeans, but you all know your history. Beating is not all they take. All right. So create a daily routine. Get up in the morning. They decide I am going to work. Even if you're going to go, even if you're just going to go to work until you're fed up, just go to work until you're fed up. And I know, right? Don't worry, you can catch it through the stream. Not that I have anything for you to catch. But bathe in the morning, get ready, have your routine, and get it done, guys. Get some work done. Create anything. The most random thing. Like, I'm not even going to play it for you. But yes, like a few days ago, I just randomly went on my phone and I created a fart struggle song. Okay, so it is a struggle song for women who have stink farts. Yes, it is a struggle song for women who have stink farts, right? Not that I am one of those women at all. It's just that they're a demographic that I consider for no reason. For no reason. But anyway, I'm working on my struggle song. So it might seem really silly, but honestly, my fart struggle song is bringing me a lot of joy. I'm not judging it. I'm not judging myself. I'm not doing it for anyone else. I'm not thinking, well, who will like this or who is this for? It's something that I want to do for me, and it's a funny idea I had, and I'm happy to be developing it. Okay, so get up, create a routine. Next thing we need to do, and I'm working on it, is get somebody to, okay, so you're a lone wolf creative, you don't like people, you like to do things by yourself, no problem. No problem. Go ahead, do things by yourself, nobody vex with you. I'm sure you will be great and wonderful, right? For me personally, I like to collaborate with other creatives. That's my favorite thing. Even when I started off in the theater at 16 or 15, when Trinidad Theatre Workshop came to my school to perform Swamp Dwellers, And I saw that play just as I was finishing Form 5, and I was like, this is the shit. Like, this is what I want to do. I'd never seen a live play before. And Errol Jones was in it. It was amazing. And I went to Trinidad Theatre Workshop, and this guy, Charles Applewhite, was running the theatre and education program, and I just joined, and the thing that I fell in love with in the theater is the camaraderie. It was all these other beautiful souls that I had the privilege of working with and enjoying and loving on a level, that's not sexual, a platonic kind of camaraderie love that creatives have for their work and for each other, because we're all here taking this risk together, So I like to collaborate with other creatives. Yes, I have been burned bad, so bad. However, it's still more rewarding to work with others than to work alone for me. And again, I recognize that as my choice. I know that might not be your choice, because maybe that fire burned you so hot the last time. You say, you know what? I will take the loneliness. And I understand that. However, it's good. Guys, children, they're wonderful. Don't have any. Um, it's good to have an accountability partner, someone who can help you do what you say you will do. What I found personally is when I decided, because I am a dream factory, okay, and that's how I see myself, as an awesome, amazing dream factory. And so I have an idea, I have a dream, and then it's my job to turn that dream into reality. And so there's always like steps, that you have to take in your process of turning a dream or an idea into reality. Okay. And I find that when there are, because I don't know how to do everything, I have limitations. I am not going to sit down here and say, well, I can edit, I can shoot, I can act, I can direct, I can do locations management. I can do so many things, but do I want to do everything? No. Do I want to do it by myself? No. I want to have that camaraderie. That's one of the big attractors for me. So I'm always gonna to look for those kind of opportunities. And yes, as I said, you get burned, but what you do is you don't say, "Well, I won't try again." You explore and examine that burn that happened, that thing that happened where things didn't work out, and you learn from that thing that happened, that agreement, that relationship that didn't work out, that business that failed. I failed a lot, like a freaking shit ton, um, at many different things. And I think that's one of my biggest advantages as a creative. I'm never afraid. Hey. I'm never afraid to fail, right? Iris, no, I'm okay. You all need to bust it. Go on. Go on. Bust it, bust it, bust it. Don't have children. Not. Love that. Instead of being afraid to re-engage and to try partnership with new people, come up with a criteria of who you want to work with, why you want to work with them, and how you want it to work. And a big part of this that I think a lot of creatives fail at is recognizing my own contribution to the failure. It's, so many of us are so victim oriented, where we say, oh, if this person had done this and that person had done that, then I would be successful now. And that's sad. Own your failure, own it, love it, sex it up, because that is your stepping stone. That is your next step. And every failure that I've had has removed my fear of failure, because I didn't die. Um, it was tough. Most of them, it was tough, but I didn't die. I always figured it out, and I was always able to use my resources. Okay, so just moving on here a little bit. One of the things that I want to see you all doing during this period of Corona right, is taking care of yourself, some self care, meditate. Sex of the failure game, yes, that's how you have to do it, right? Meditate, spend some time with yourself. If you believe that demons will enter you if you breathe deeply, then good luck. I can't work with that. I ain't asking you to create a rama or nothing weird or anything out of your thing, but spend some time with yourself. Count your breaths. Just count 10 breaths. 60 is my goal. Sometimes I make a 35 or 40. I have a little ADHD, right? But it still helps me anytime I get a chance. Count your breaths. I see so many things online now about for breathing, and I think that's great because people have a lot of anxiety around this corona. They have a lot of problems. It could turn into a very desperate situation for lots of people. Who's calling me? No, right? It could cause a lot of problems for a lot of creatives, and it could get very desperate where we can't pay bills and things like that. And I mean, I already was in a situation where paying bills was tough, right? Because it's groceries have gone up so much. It's not easy, and I keep thinking, oh, if I earn this much, it's going to be okay, and I keep raising my earning, and my lifestyle just keeps climbing right back up to meet it. So we have, and that's the next point that I wanted to make. We have to budget. We have to grapple with our income, our actual income, not the income that we imagine we'll have when this person pays us. Whew, that is such a mind screw for Lord Ellen. I'm calling back. I tell you, Jean, I love you. Yeah. That could be a real mind screw. A lot of creatives, and I speak for myself here strongly. We don't like to talk about money. We don't like to think about money. We don't think that we are worthy of money. We don't ask for money. We say things like, "You tell me what is your budget." No, I know how much I'm worth. I do know what I'm worth, and I know that I have to compromise on that um, for different situations, and I'm willing to do that. But I have to start from a place of this is what it's worth to do this job for me, and I can't just think about the other. I see so many creatives focused on the client, like what will the client think and what will the client say, and if I do this, the client might say that, and if I do this, the client might say this, and that's a wrong-headed approach. It's weak, it's useless, and it will not get you respect. If you want to be respected, you have to know your craft as well as your profession. You have to know the business side of your profession. And lone wolves could struggle here. Lone wolves could struggle because they don't have like a template. They don't know what other people are getting paid. They don't know what the market will bear. And that kind of information is vital. You can't just say, oh, this is my price. So many things affect your price, including market research. And as a creative, market research is finding out what other people are getting paid, and how other people are getting paid, and how it's working generally, not just how I want it to work for me, So it's really important to create a routine and find an accountability partner, even if it's your mother or your father, or your sister or your brother. I've successfully had multiple collaborations with my sister, and people are like, "How you could work with your sister? Like, I can't work with my family and stuff like that." Well, if you can't work with people, then you have to take a look at your approach. And I know some of us lack clarity, um, and we lack perspective. You really, if you're partnering with somebody or collaborating on a project, then you really have to be clear on what your contribution is, as well as what you can expect out of it. That's really important. um Next thing I wanted to talk about is asking for help and asking for what you want. Now, this is the time of Corona, right? Anything could happen. None of us could be alive in a couple of years or in 5 years or 6 years or whatever. We might all be dead in 6 months, right? Global pandemic and shit. And I'll tell you something that I learned that's very important. In 2010, my beloved mother uh, was diagnosed with colon cancer. And in 2010, I was a very hardworking creative in film, uh, television, voice, events. I was working. I used to work all the time. I was very busy. I earned well. I had no complaints about my life as a creative, and I was doing things that I knew would pay me well. I wasn't necessarily doing things that I was drawn to creatively. I was also doing a lot of outreach work, facilitation, mediation, training, all sorts of different things. Larissa is a girl does work that multiple income stream, things, and all of that stopped. My mom had to go for treatment in New York, and I shut my whole life down and I went with her, and that had a real impact on my earning. You know, and then in 2014, I started production on a film that I executive produced with two other female women producers, Tracy Farag and the writer director Joanne Johnson. That film was Sally's Way. And while I was working on Sally's Way, I became pregnant with my younger daughter Iris. Um, and a week after Iris was born, my mother passed, and she had been very sick for a long time. And I thought that I understood death and mourning, and so I thought, after a certain amount of time, I would just be able to get back into it because I had an interruption, from 2010 to 2014, and now that my mom has passed, I can just move on. Well, I did not really catch myself until 2018, and I was fortunate enough to do a mentoring with the master's program with Wendell Warren. And that program allowed me to correct course because my mother's death had pushed me, and all the things around that had pushed me into, I suppose, what they call an existential crisis, where I asked myself, what is the meaning of all of this? Why am I alive? What is all of this for? And I was able to find, and even though, and it was an internal struggle, something that was more subconscious than conscious. Um, and I was trying to find a way to be an artist, to earn, and to find satisfaction in my creation, and also to live my life the way that I wanted, because my mother's death, uh, and being there with her, like literally being there with her, holding her hand as she passed, it really brought home to me that you only live once. You don't have another life. This is it. And unless I do what I want to do, um, I would have missed an opportunity that does not come again. Once you're dead, that's it. Um, and I think that you can do what you want at 50, you could do it at 60, you could do it at 20, you could do it at 19, you could do it at 26. I don't think it matters. I don't think there's an expiration date for life when you go, okay, that's it, I'm stuck. I can't do anything different. I can't do anything new. I think that you can start again at any point. And as a creative, it is the focus that you put in, it is the work that you do, it is the community and the network that you are able to attach yourself to and grow with. And most importantly, it is your will to do what you want to do and to swerve or turn the world in your direction. And that is not an easy thing to do because everybody around you is resistant to things changing, especially if they're comfortable with the way things are. So 4 years ago when I decided to 3 years ago when I decided to homeschool my children instead of sending them to school, the school is shit. Sorry, it's true. Um, my family was very resistant, and I was able to educate them, and now they coast about how my children homeschool like it was their idea, right? So I know that you can change the way that people see things. You can change the way that people see you. You could become anything. 3 years ago, I was not a stand-up comedian, and now I am a stand-up comedian, and I challenge anyone to tell me differently. And I've proved that I am a stand-up comedian. So use this time of corona to meditate, to think, to work out what you want to do. Do not fill your time and your days with empty escapist pursuits. You can do that as well, right? I'm not telling you you can't veg out on your couch, scratch your balls, and binge watch a Netflix show. Like, literally, that's what I did for most of the day yesterday. I watched I Am Not Okay with This, just, to validate my couch scratching abilities, right? So I really want you all to put in that creative time over this corona. Use it to write that script, write that poem, share it online. Two people might read it, but you made it, right? Take chances, make funny videos on YouTube. You always wanted to produce a talk show. Do a talk show in your room with your phone or your computer, or your friend or your cousin or your sister or your brother or your dad could hold the camera for you. Your mother could help you. Look around you, see the resources that you have available. You do have toilet paper, ask your neighbor for some toilet paper. They might throw a few rolls your way to get you through the next couple of days. Let's not ignore the opportunities that are in each other. We do that so much. So many times I meet people because I had an 8 year gap in my creative career. So for 8 years, I didn't really do anything outside of the film Sally's Way, and having a baby and seeing about my dying mother. So when I came back, it was so interesting because there were all these new people between 2010 and 2018. There were all these new people and young people who had kind of emerged. And I was so excited to see how the scene had enlarged. You see all these new players, filmmakers, actors, dancers, artists. I saw a lot of artists that I knew as like musicians transition into visual art. I saw, it was so cool to kind of see that difference between 2010 and 2018 and how many new people were on the scene. And I have to say, both UE and UTT, particularly UTT arts program, Belinda Barnes, Michael Cherry, I think you all had a lot to do with that. I don't know if we will be able to see and document that contribution now. And I know I've heard things are grim. I don't know, over at UTT for the arts programs right now. But I think you all made a big difference, and I see it in the amount of professionals, professional, uh, professional presenting actors that I have to work with now as a producer. What saddens me is the insularity of our creative community. We are very, very insular and lazy. So if I don't know you, if I have personally never heard of you, you may as well not exist. And we are not very respectful of each other. And then when you see, oh, this person actually can do something, then it's this kind of awkward turnaround, like, yeah, you were amazing. I was so surprised. Come on, guys. Let's do better than that. Let's be a little more curious. Let's be a little more curious about each other. Let's when you meet a creative who has a lot of experience, Google them. Like you don't even have to ask them questions. Like Google. Like it didn't have that when I was in my teens, but you all have it. All the millennials, all the youngsters. There's a group. I don't know what y'all are. If y'all is Y, X, Z, whatever. But you see them 18-year-old creatives and thing, all you, them comment out mush up the place. So get on the technology. This is a real good time to get your technology sorted and figure out how to do Facebook, how to do Instagram, not just how to use it, but how to utilize it for your creative career, and how to share with people on it. There are also some really great platforms for crowdfunding and fundraising. And let's try start exploring those things, because imagine if you had the opportunity to get paid just to do your creative work. Like, I have a script to work on and I'm able to crowdfund enough so that people actually pay me a monthly salary through crowdfunding to write the script. Yeah. And in parts of the world, that's a whole job that people get paid for. It happens here, but it's so rare. It's so rare. We have that attitude that creative work is something that you do after your real work is done, and we need to change that. And I think Corona is an opportunity to do that. So I want all the creatives produce, create, put out the ideas, connect with each other, register for the artist registry, tally up your losses so that there's some sort of a way to measure the impact of Corona on the artistic community. Please tally up your losses as much as possible. Tally up your economic losses. Get yourself registered at the artist registry. Um, Meditate, think, plan, be productive, get work done. I'm learning to play the ukulele. I'm terrible, but I've been playing every day since Corona started. And I played a song yesterday. I would not embarrass you by trying to play it live. Maybe at the end of the week, if I'm feeling a little more confident, I might play I'm Yours, the only song I can play currently on the ukulele because it's super freaking easy. So plan, develop new skills, look at your budget, look at what you have, what money you have access to right now, conserve it, don't go paying people. Keep your money for you for now, as much as possible. Reach out, ask for help, ask for what you want, and get an accountability partner to help you achieve your goals during Corona. I'm going to be doing these every day. I'm not sure how long they're going to go for. I'm pretty tired of this one now, but I appreciate those of you who joined me and who commented. And I hope as the video continues to live on the Creative Business TT page, that more people can access it and hopefully gain some kind of benefit from my expertise and experience and my willingness to share that. So thanks, guys, for your attention. Stay safe, wash your hands, and wash your bottom if necessary.